Sagittarius Sun and Rising. Welcome to your October 2020 Astro Transit reading. It's Raina here. And as a fellow Sag, I guess I'm invested in this particular reading, but it is going to be a great time because you're going to have some transits that are friendly to Sag. As the month begins, the Sun is in Libra, as every year, of course, and Libra forms a sextile to Sag. And I'm talking about the Sun as well as the rising. I mean, it's making the same angle because it's the same sign. Sextiles and trines are considered easy angles because they make things easier to manifest. So where this is coming from, a sextile is coming from the 11th house to Sag, and the 11th house is the house of friendships. It's the house of the groups that you belong to, as well as your hopes and wishes. So I would say in general, especially since Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the attractor, that attracting people to you that can be of benefit might be what is going on here. And also Venus can bring money. So that might be that you're able, especially through others, to attract it into your life. The 11th house, I keep forgetting about this, is the internet. Because the 11th house, being the house of groups or the collective, is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is connected to technology. So reaching out electronically, maybe networking in this way, something happening that widens your net. So this could affect, if you have your own business, this can affect you positively, where you're able to have more clients. You have your friends put the word out about you. If you're somebody who's looking for work, you ask your friends, hey, is there an opening where you are? And they may, come through for you. So that could be how it manifests. On the first of the month and the last of the month, we have full moons, which is very interesting. So we're going to have a blue moon on Halloween. That should be a doozy. I'll get to that in a minute. So the first one is in a fellow fire sign. It's at 9 degrees of Aries on October 1st. So this is very good for Sag because we are fire signs. We are a fire sign, and this can mean that this is for Sag, this is the 5th house. Although some of you are going to experience this in the 4th house. So for those who are born, maybe we would say in November specifically, this will fall in that 5th house. And this can be some kind of romantic realization. Full moons can bring something into your awareness. Sometimes it's by revealing something that was hidden. So revealing secrets. And, yes, of course, it can be you're dating somebody, because the 5th house can be the dating scene. And you're dating somebody and you find out that they already had a partner. And that's not a pleasant realization. You end the relationship. For other people, it could be that your platonic friend that, happens to be somebody that you are in love with, or they reveal that they're in love with you. And that can be a happy surprise or a happy reveal. The 5th house is the house of creativity. So this can be some kind of idea that descends upon you that is a great one. Also, I've heard that it's a business that you own, and of course businesses that you create, products that you create for your business, that's creative. You can't say that that's not creative. So that could also be something that is going on. The fifth house is the house of creating children. It's conceiving children. So full moons are very fertile. So enough said on that front. It's the house of what do they call that? Recreational sex. So if you don't want consequences, make sure that you are well aware of this. So that's going on for those people. If you're born from 10 degrees to 29 degrees of Sag, this is actually falling in your fourth house of home and family. And so this is going to be a stark contrast to those earlier degree Sag, Sun, and Rising, because the fourth house is a water house. It's Cancer's house, and it can feel kind of, I don't want to say heavy, but it's a house of childhood. It's the house of, the past, your roots. The full moon here can really have you break from the past, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but you might have some kind of situation that arises. It's the house of the mother, but we can say the parents in general, of having some kind of ending or closure, if it's a positive angle, when it comes to parents, nurturers. And I could even think of, if you are a parent yourself and your child is going away to college, maybe you have the empty nest syndrome, and you're really having to kind of like put this chapter of your life behind you that was so important and so much a part of you. And not to say that being a parent ever stops being important, but in the same way. So something may be able to be resolved, or closure, or maybe selling a house. This can be the house of real estate. On the 2nd, Venus goes into Virgo, fellow mutable sign. And that for Sag is the 10th house of career, so that's nice. This is an angular house, the 10th house, and so a lot happens in this house, a very important house for career matters. Venus, that's a planet that deals with money, with ease, so that can make you popular with the public. It can make you popular with people who are endearing, with people who are in positions of authority. So if you need to charm the pants off of a potential boss or an a company, then that might be something that takes place. Like I had mentioned earlier, if you're looking around for work and a friend recommends you or something like that, then you may have to do something where you are well, it doesn't have to be a friend, but anything that is along those lines. The reason I say a friend is because of the transits in the 11th house. So if that is something that's going on for some people, then you may feel this sense of like making a good impression on authority figures. This can be great for popularity, for your reputation. The 10th house is your reputation. But money in any house, so money, getting a raise. On the 4th, Pluto goes direct at 22 degrees of Capricorn. This is the money sector. So how has the money been? Is Pluto retrograde worse than Pluto direct? I haven't been able to find that out. I don't think so. Because the nature of Pluto is to be relentlessly uncovering certain aspects to our lives. Maybe it's less of a psychological intense situation and more with the matters of the world. I don't know, because whenever you have a retrograde, it can be more of an internalized thing, and Pluto is already, so into psychoanalysis that, yeah, it's hard to say. But, Pluto, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, if somebody has Pluto in their natal chart, they may be obsessed with wealth, but they can also have it. Pluto is a planet of power. So I think you can be empowered with money. Maybe you've had to question some of these beliefs that were embedded on a deep level in your psyche about money. You know, I really have seen over the years how much this has been true for me, that certain attitudes towards money were things that were not my doing, that they were just put on me. And I can understand, because both of my parents went through the Great Depression, even though they were, or they had a quite a difference in their ages. They still both were alive during that time, and that has to do a number on people. I think even people from other countries who lived through World War II and they lived through rationing, they understand about shortages. A lot of us were running around like chickens with their heads cut off when there were shortages because of the shutdown. And I'm one of those people that didn't like it, because I have Taurus rising. I like to have my little things by my side, and I want to be able to get what I get. I don't want them to be run out. Even something like toilet paper. So, for sure. But this was something that many people in the past lived through for years, and they had to make do. That's a phrase we don't hear much these days. So, I think that for a lot of Sagittarians, you're poised now to really go after your wealth and feeling self-empowered to do so. Maybe it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it doesn't mean you can't. But it does take a certain amount of confidence that you have what it takes to do it. And Sagittarius tend to be very positive, and fire signs tend to be confident. Sometimes Sagittarius are overconfident. Not necessarily egotistical, but simply overestimating, how quickly something can be, attained, for instance. So, what else can I say here? Well, let me just move on. On the 13th, we have a Mercury retrograde, 11 degrees of Scorpio. So this starts out in the 12th house and goes back to the 11th. The 12th house is a house of past lives. It's not a rational house, so Mercury, the mind, is not going to be acting in a way that is in accordance with what we would expect from Mercury, with logic being employed. This is a water house, so it's more about your feelings. So you had, some of you had a full moon in the 4th house, and now this is a Mercury retrograde in the 12th house. Past life memories popping up, perhaps, or deeply embedded memories from this lifetime. this can be the time to, this is a great transit to meditate, Mercury retrograde, because it's not trying to be aggressive with thought. It's being more passive and, more within, as with all Mercury retrograde, or with all retrogrades, going within, but this is the 12th house, which is all about going within. When it goes back into your 11th house, the people that you surround yourself with socially come into play. And there may be things that you're doing, a revision. You might be thinking to yourself, a review. Are these people and I are on the same page in life? This to me is of major importance. If you are kind of like a social person, which a lot of Sagittarius probably are. I'm not. I'm more of an introvert. So that's not really, in that sense, what what I would be reflecting on. But again, the 11th house is the internet. So it can be like reflecting if you work online, if you have a website, if you interact with people online, how do you want to interact with them? Do you want to do it more? Do you want to do it less? I notice sometimes it's kind of funny, for people who have YouTube channels, that sometimes I'll be subscribed to somebody and they never respond to their comments. Then all of a sudden they start responding to their comments. And I usually think to myself, oh, I guess their attendance is dropping off, or their view count is lowering. Because when you're on YouTube, they always have these tips that they're trying to tell you, what is going to help retain an audience and things like that. And some of these things are no-brainers. If you respond to people, they're going to feel heard if they're asking you a question or if they're making a comment. And I have always normally done that because I have my natal Mercury in my 7th house, so I'm genuinely interested in communicating with people. Maybe for some people it's just not comfortable for them. They don't enjoy it. And so they're a little leery of it. I don't know. I think most Sagittarius are pretty talkative and open to be able to do that. So if anything, it would probably be, am I too, if you have like this type of scenario going on, should I pull back a little bit? Am I giving too much away? It can go either way. And on the 16th of October, there's a new moon at 23 degrees of Libra. And so for those people who are born from 24 to 29 degrees, so this is the minority for sure. Or if you're born within the last, that's like sun or rising, within the last few days of the month of, like from the 18th of October onwards. But I really can't say that for sure because it depends on the year. This new moon will actually be in your 10th house of career. So this can be great for career matters moving forward, maybe a new direction in career. For the rest of you, this is happening in that social 11th house. Could be new internet dealings or in the flesh with people that you're getting involved with who are a new social circle or just a new group that you're belonging to. Hopes and wishes, new things that you wish to accomplish. Maybe you can make a list of those things that you want in the luckiest house, according to ancient astrologers. And then on Halloween, we have the much anticipated by me, full moon full blue moon, second full moon in the month, 8 degrees of Taurus, and in conjunction with Uranus, which is all about freedom and surprises. So where are you going to break free? Because the full moon can be about breaking free too, like kind of letting go of something that doesn't serve you. You might just be able to drop something like that. Okay, well, once again, let's look at the people from 0 to 8 degrees of Taurus versus the ones from 9 to 29. So for those who are born from 9 to 29 degrees, this is going to happen in the house before it. So it's going to be in that 5th house. This could be like once in a blue moon, meeting somebody that it's like instant, what do they call it? Love at first sight, where you know, because the full moon can bring some kind of knowingness, an intuitive hit. You have Mercury in the 12th house, probably at this time. I don't know the degree it'll be in, but probably. And then you have, which means that your mind is very intuitive already. And then you have this full moon, that's a blue moon, so it's more rare. And in conjunction with Uranus in that 5th house of love, yeah, it could be something like that. It could be coming up with a creative idea that just out of the blue, that could be very original, and who knows what you could do with that. So but there's also like the ability, the 5th house is just love itself. So even if you've loved somebody for a long time, maybe you've been married, which is the 7th house, or, committed to that person for a long time, and the relationship is quite painful, so it's been hard to break off from that relationship. This can be a time when you're able to drop it like a bad habit. For the rest of you, this is happening in the 6th house. So this has to do with your work space, your work environment. What's going on with that? Maybe you've been feeling kind of weird. You've been sensing that something isn't quite right, and that brings it out. For some people, you can just say, take this job and shove it, and it just is something that happens very spontaneously. You weren't even thinking about it beforehand. And if you happen to be listening to this, and that does happen, you might remember like, oh my God, she said that was going to happen. So, just out of the blue moon. What else can happen with this? This can be something if you have some weird health symptoms, you get them looked at, or you realize it comes to you exactly why something happened, feeling, not well, and then remembering, oh yeah, I came in contact with this poison, I did this, and then you at least have something to go on. Because perhaps even if you have contacted, I was thinking of a doctor, even if you have done that, sometimes they can't pinpoint something. And then you remember something that happened, and it's like this instant recall. And that is putting you on the road to healing. So, I think it's going to be a very interesting month for all of us because of these bookends in terms of full moons and that sort of thing. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Sag. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.